Hi guys, good morning. So one thing that I've been noticing, obviously, is the sheer amount of effort that is put clearly into making us believe that we are worthless and that we are powerless and that darkness is more powerful than light at the very least, or in fact even that evil always wins. Like things that I've noticed, like back in the day in the 80s and the 90s, films and series used to have happy endings, novels used to have happy endings. That used to be the mainstay of television and entertainment, or films in the cinemas. But if you look now, more and more, what you see is that things have bad endings. Remember, like Game of Thrones? Not that I watched all of it, I thought it was a pile of shit, but it's all dark and it's all bad, and it all ends badly, and it's brutal, and it's designed to make you feel, to reinforce the programming that see, darkness is more powerful than light, and evil always wins, and you're worthless and you're powerless. Massive effort to that effect. And I've also noticed that more and more now, a lot of people are really falling for that shit, because, guys, think about it just for a moment, just stop and think about it, right? If we really were that powerless and worthless, why do the powers that be, or darkness, call them what you will, the Dark Lords, why do they put in such a massive effort to keep that programming in place? They wouldn't have to. If they were that powerful, they wouldn't have to do that at all. If they created us, they wouldn't have to do that at all. This is merely a hijack, people. It's an invasion. That's all it is. And they have to put in an enormous effort to stay in control of our consciousness and of this realm via our consciousness, and that is the truth. And one of the methods they use, apart from the one I've just mentioned, where increasingly they put this into our daily diet. The mainstream media does it as well. If you ever know, there's always bad news, but when there's good news, you never fucking hear about it. This is what they do. But another way they do it, I call obfuscation. Obfuscation, where basically complexity, they make it so that you can't see the wood for the trees. You couldn't find your arse with both elbows. They do this on purpose, because the more complex it becomes, the more difficult it becomes for us to understand what's really going on. We're literally, it's like shadows within shadows and mirrors within mirrors, and it's like, whoa, who the fuck knows what's going on? And couple that with the constant trauma and the constant stress and the constant duress, having to deal with, the kind of the people still lingering in mass consciousness, which is why some people call the NPCs human prison bars. Again, to an extent, yes, they are, though they are not conscious of it. I do not believe. They are mass consciousness. They are the embodiment of mass consciousness, and mass consciousness is subjugation. It is policing each other. Ooh, police! It is shaming each other, guilting each other, judging each other, reinforcing the wetico behavior, reinforcing the negative agenda, right? So to that effect, yeah, I concur, but, I'm not going to start a war and start fighting and pushing back, because I know from experience at that point, and I don't care anyway, because I am liberating myself, you see, so I'm not afraid anymore. Yes, well, that's not entirely true. I mean, there are times where I'm dreadfully afraid, but I'm not afraid of the fear. You see, now that's something. Because obfuscation, yes, all these different stories, all these different theories, all these different, oh, it's this, oh, it's that, it's here, it's there, it's who, it's her, it's oh, you could be afraid of this, and oh, you're so powerless, you're so worthless, and ooh, and all this trauma, and all of, there's so many different nuances and facets, and so many different events, and so many different types of stress and duress, and insanity, and bombardment, and manipulation going on at any fucking given time, from the minute we were born, and even before, via the bloodlines into our, DNA and whatnot, that, yeah, but yet again, some of us are beginning to see past all these hurdles and obstacles and saying, navigating past all of that and getting to the point, the truth, which is that yes, we are powerful and they're fucking frightened of us. This dark force which lies within us, which lies more so in these dark creatures, these dark beings, on account of them having a very low immune response. This virus, this evil, it wants to stay in control, and it has to do everything in its power continually to do that, because it is not powerful in and of itself, and I've seen it. It's like a tiny little grey creature with black eyes, yes. And it's sort of already dead. That's the only way I can describe it. It was really strange. I had a really strange experience because I saw it in a vision. And then I saw it again some weeks later in a dream. And then I went out for a walk and I saw an actual statue of this creature. It was amazing. It was a naval thing. It was put there by the Navy, I think, or some such thing, but it was a little grey, fishy looking creature with black eyes, and it was like, wow, talk about validation. But yeah, it's clear to me that our consciousness is actually a very fruitful, very potent, a very powerful force, a force to be reckoned with. And the virus has to do everything, literally bending over backwards all the time to stay in control. Another thing that it does, it has instilled in us a fear of our own power, people. Be aware of this. Have you ever felt kind of like on top of the world, fizzy, with this momentary awareness of your own potency, but there has been that fear going, ooh, that's ego, ooh, you shouldn't feel that way, you're bound to become bad, you're going to the bad if you think that way, you're gonna, you're a megalomaniac, you think you're powerful, you'll end up doing bad things with that, you can't handle that kind of power, you can end up doing bad things, you're gonna turn out like Idi Amin or Adolf Hitler. Do you know what I mean? So they make us, it has made us afraid of our own power. I get those moments where I'm literally like, I almost feel like a really powerful tree where I've got these roots going in there and those roots coming out there, and it's like really connected and really like, yeah, this is the truth of me, woo! And immediately that presence is there saying, oh, no, you can't go there, oh, no, that's bad, that's arrogance, and that's just all woo, But I know now that is, again, that's subterfuge, that's programming, it has so many weapons in its arsenal, and it behoves us to know these weapons and to recognize those weapons. It wants us, at the very least, to be resigned, right? It likes to imprint us with martyr programming. Oh, there's nothing that can be done. Death is inevitable. We must die, and we must be here, and we must somehow survive it and work on ourselves, and somehow, and then we will die, and then we will get our reward in heaven, or that sort of shit, which is fucking bullshit. We're creator beings, people. This is all raw material. This is our creation in a sort of by default, on account of the virus using our consciousness to create this. So imagine what could happen when we take back power, control over our consciousness, potent and infinitely creative and loving that it is. Imagine what we would recreate using these raw materials, right? So no resignation, no martyrdom, no, clarity, knowing. And more of that will become apparent, will be utilized within us, will grow, will be born within us. It will. It's you go through these purges where you feel all the programming and you're in it and you think it's the truth, that's all there is, and you feel absolutely horrible, and I know because I go through that. And these are the purges, where it's literally being purged out. Homotoxicology, I always call that, you know. A bit of the poison brings it all up. Blech. You know, and then you have clarity. Ooh, I get it now. So, and you think to yourself, well, is this process, yeah, but is this process going to go on forever? It's just going to be like that forever and ever and ever. Now, if you go through these purges again and again and again, and then you would feel better, and you would stay stagnant on the same level, on the same kind of level of gnosis, and nothing else would transpire, then I would say, well, yeah, something is very wrong. But that is not the case. I think we are growing subtly more powerful, more intelligent, intuitively intelligent, you know, because mass consciousness is dumber than a bag of hammers. It cannot grasp these mystical concepts that are so far beyond the box as to realize that, hey, there is no fucking box, yeah? There is no spoon. Do you remember in the Matrix? There is no spoon. We are programmed from the get-go to think in black and white, right? So we come across these theories, conjecture on YouTube and whatnot about, oh, it's them and it's them and it's the Archons or it's the Jinn. I myself have been there. And to an extent, there are many players, right, in this story. It isn't just one enemy versus us. It isn't black and white. There is black, there's white, and there's everything in between, and up and down and here and there. It is a very complex scenario. I do feel this. I don't think humanity is the only species under duress here either. And I do think that we may have allies. Not the Galactic Federation of Light, no, they're full of shit. I mean, they look like shit as well, they really do. They look like porn stars from the 70s, don't they? Look at my big schlong. Anyway, getting a bit hot. I think I'll leave it there today, people, but, you know, think beyond the box. There is no spoon, there is no box, and it's not black and white, and hey, people, we are powerful creator beings. Right? Whatever they tell us, whatever the virus, think the opposite. Right? Toodaloo.